Peace and greetings. We've looked at the fear of others uh, and moving forward on your own. And we're going to look at it again today a little differently. We, the title of this playlist is How I Move Forward Despite Others' Fears and My Children Thrive was my initial intention to talk about. But how I move forward from others' fears and me and my children thrive is is what I'm going to share on this week. So one of the biggest things that occurs, I'm a teacher by trade, by training and trading, like whatever. But in college, when we were studying developmental needs and just development in general, there gets to a point where uh, the child or the mentee or whomever the learner is takes in what they've been taught and then moves beyond what they've been taught. They incorporate it, they adjust it for their lives, and they move beyond where they were. And so, of course, with children, the easiest thing to see is we give them, as parents, as guardians, as teachers, give them the best of what we can give them. And then it's their job to take that and move forward into a world we don't live in, to make change in a world that we don't live in. And the same is true for us as children. We receive what we received from those before us, and then it was our task to take that and move forward into a world that we're going to expand beyond what we were taught in. Um, when I remember working at my father's job when I came home for the summer one time from college, and there was a man named Joe Petrangeli. And I say his name because it was fun to say, but I remember I used to work in HR and we would have to, whatever I was doing, I must have been cleaning up files or something, but everybody had a picture, like a little, almost like a passport size picture that was um, in their files. And this man had been there for a very long time. So he had a lot of pictures. Like it was like a stack of them. So I remember trying to organize them in his files. But for everybody else, if they had 2 or 3, 4 to 5 passport pictures, you could just staple them all in place and keep it moving. But he had so many that it was like, okay, so what do we do with these? Do we toss them? Do we keep them? What do we do? And I remember thinking about him having that one job for so long that I think he used to wear the same bow tie and hat for all of his pictures. So it was just like the pictures would change. She would get a little older and not the same, but a different colored bow tie and hat would show up. And it struck me that he had been steady at this job for so long. When I got to college, they were teaching us, and it wasn't where we were at that point, but they were teaching us by the time you all graduate, you will change jobs within your field probably 11 times. And so at that point, that was like, oh, what? 11 times. We didn't think we were going to have the job, the job steadiness necessarily, or being in the same place as our parents, but we didn't expect that kind of change. And so now, where my children are heading into uh, the job market, it's now hustle culture. You got to have something. I mean, I had jobs on the side, so I can't say that to me. I was a teacher, so I had to have jobs on the side because you don't pay teachers, or the U.S. doesn't pay teachers for anything. But um, I had to have jobs on the side, and so, but they were like support to my main job. What it feels like now is that young people are uh, their quote unquote side hustles or whatever is really their passion, and their main job, if they have them, is the support until they can move into those things. So I say all of those things to illustrate that there are shifts, there are changes. Um, one of the one of the largest challenges in in this topic is we're not talking about the fears of people that are on the periphery of your life. We're not talking about the fears of people that you have. Because people will always talk. Haters don't hate. And scared people don't be scared. We're talking about the people who are close to you, who parents, siblings, close friends, that when you start making shifts, they go, "What are you doing? Oh my goodness, what is that going to mean? How is that going to affect people?" And especially when it has to do with your children, because you want to do what's best for your children. And I know a lot of mothers who are very mean to ourselves about, I didn't do this enough, or I didn't do this enough, while spinning 10 plates and simultaneously cooking dinner, running children to practice, whatever. So it's a very difficult place to be in. It's like walking through. And so the first thing is being able to be still enough to hear where your voice differentiates from those who are around you and who love you and who are telling you their best with best intentions, but they're not walking the path that you. And that's a hard thing to do, especially if you are a good girl. And I'll put that playlist at the end of this. But if you're a good girl, even if you're not a girl anymore, if you're a grown woman, then doing your best to appease and do as people think is correct or proper is how you've operated. But it doesn't serve, and it doesn't serve the children. And in this case, I'm talking about my flesh and blood children. Um, so get into some of those examples this week. But the biggest thing has been in fine tuning, especially we were talking about fear and intuition, um, is is using embodiment, is using your full mind, which is, head, heart, gut, spirit, soul, using the fullness of your person to differentiate between what is your voice and what is the voice of those around you, those who have led you before or guided you, those who have parented you, those who are siblings who walked alongside you. And so, there's always things in science that follow ancient wisdoms. Science is usually behind the ancients. But there are things in science that um, support what our ancestors have already known. So, there's thinking in your mind and there's thinking in your body. So when we say um, it was a gut wrenching, or this is a gut decision, um, you may not have heard, but there are studies that talk about probiotics in the stomach, how the biome of our belly, of our stomach, actually affects our intelligence, our clarity of thought. Again, going back to you are what you eat and the wisdom of choosing good food and stuff that actually nourishes your body. But, and the knowledge of that makes it all the more clear that what the body knows is not separate from what we know. It's not separate from our mind. It's not separate from, we are a whole being. So when a loved one of yours suggests something that is out of their own fear, and you are certain, level headed, and clear minded in the way that you are moving, not reactive, not in rebellion to prove something, but because you know this is the way you need to go. You can feel it in your body. There's a calm, there's a peace. Your nervous system is regulated. Your mind is sharp. Um, but when they suggest something and the inclination is to go along, to get along, or to go along to make them feel at ease, when it is in direct opposition to what it is that you need and what you feel called to do, especially as you are leading children, you'll feel that in your body as well. And there's so many places to look up what different things in the body feel, or different um, maladies, or not even illnesses or maladies, but like uh, a place in the body that just doesn't feel good, and sustains it for a long time. So if your belly is feeling tight, attempting to go along to get along, that's not the way you're supposed to go. If your shoulders are hurting or crunched up near your ears, or your back starts to ache along here, that's not the way to go. Your hips or lower back start to ache and trying to carry the weight of someone else's fears. That's not the way to go. So as you move forward in these places where you are uh, making sure you do what is best for you and your children, make sure to pay attention to all of it. Use, not use, but be embodied. Be connected to all parts of you and do the things that allow you to do that. And they're all buzzwords and stuff, but there's things that you can do. Making sure that you are taking time to breathe, making sure that you're taking time to, I don't know if you can hear them, but listen to these birds that are out here, to observe what's happening around you, taking time to just attune yourself to your five, six senses, to your six senses. So being fully present, slowing down enough that the antenna that is the antenna that walked alongside all these loved ones that came through and these loved is able to see what is unique for you and those blessings of people that you were charged to help raise until they get to this point where they have to figure out what their unique voice is, informed but unique for themselves. So we'll look at some of those this week. Um, you are your own expression. It's like looking at chips and flowers, vegetables, not because they've been tampered with, because they just developed uh, due to environment, oil, water, sunlight, whatever it is. They just developed and adapted to what's around them, and we are charged to do the same. I shared in one of the earlier videos that in the biology class that I teach, we talk about survival of the fittest. And even though those around you who are sharing your fears don't realize it, you moving forward, uh, not carrying their fears, is allowing your bloodline, is allowing your family, is allowing your descendants to be the fittest, to move forward, to grow. And so even as you're making this move, to not hold the fears of those around you, make space for your children and don't expect them to hold your fears. Okay? Well, I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Say Reverend Okomfo, Wally Yogi, Sister Mama. Thank you.